All right, sweet. Good job. You made it. Part 2, Purpose Discovery Series. Our training today is on finding purpose, how to find purpose, and how to ensure that you actually accomplish that purpose. There are magical ways. And I'm going to show them to you today. Okay, we're still in step 1, which is discovering your true self. And here's how this all works. Now, before I get started, I shamelessly stole most of this content so far from Frank Kern. Okay, he's one of the most brilliant marketers I know. The dude's never met me, okay? So keep this on the down low, but he will after he realizes I literally stole all this material, and he's probably going to sue me. So before he does that and makes me take it down, take this shit, kick ass with it. I'll take the bullet, right? Send a link to your friends and family, get it to everybody you can, or don't. But if I ever call you needing cash, it's to help with my lawyer fees after Frank sues me for all of this, the blatant theft. Moving on. Oh, real quick, you're going to need a piece of paper. You're probably going to need many pieces of paper. Actually, you're going to need a notebook and some paper and a pen. If you don't have those, I don't suggest going through the training without them. That you're going to have to write a lot down. So either use your computer to take notes on, or you're going to need to write some of this stuff down. There is a worksheet available in PDF format below this video. You can download it there, but I do recommend writing this stuff down. And in fact, not only do I recommend writing it down, I strongly suggest you do not go through this training without writing it down. I'm going to say it that way. Because there's an incredible amount to gain by writing it down. Okay, here we go. E plus I equals L. Now the E in this means equals experience. And like I talked about earlier, we don't actually crave things or stuff. We crave the experience the things and stuff give us. We don't really want money. We want the freedom the money provides. I is for identity. Our experiences, beliefs, and values create our identity. Okay? Everything we say and do and become actually comes from your identity. This is why it's so incredibly crucial to discover your true self, because everything you do and say and become happens as a result of your true self. So if the stuff in your life that you're doing only comes from your shell identity, then we're going to have some trouble finding that fulfillment. But if you can find your true self, then out of that, you can actually get to where you're wanting to go. Okay? L is for life. Our experiences and identity work together to form our life. They work together. They go hand in hand. Okay? Which brings us to the super big aha. Okay? What we all really want is a new life. We don't want the stuff, we want the new life. Now, I'm not saying, hey, go out and change everything about your life, but here's an illustration. Okay, maybe you got a great life. So I'm not saying, hey, go cut ties with all your friends and ditch your family and quit your job and just go start over fresh. I did not tell you to do that. If that's what you do as a result of hearing this, that's on you. I do not claim any responsibility for that action. Okay, but here's an illustration for you. A family buys a new home. Okay, they're not buying the bricks and the mortar and the shingles and the grass and the light switches that come with that home, that make up that home. What they're buying is the new life that they get to have inside that home. The experience, not the thing. I personally believe that this relates to everything on a fundamental level. At all times, your subconscious is saying, is this thing going to move me towards or away from my true self and purpose? Okay, at all times. So, since we want a new life, here's how we create it. When I told you about that 24-month transformation that I had that took me from misery to living the fulfilled life again, would you like to experience something similar? Well, I have good news for you then. You're dying. If we all live an average of 40 more years, I know that sounds grim. Hey, you're dying. Well, here's the good news about this training is you're dying. If we all live an average of 40 more years, that means that we've got 14,600 more days to go before we're dead, which sounds grim, right? Sure. I mean, death is upon us. Your life is made up of individual days. Now remember, your experiences shape your life. Well, your experiences happen during each individual day, don't they? Okay, so if experiences shape your life, then, and your experiences happen during each individual day, that means to design the perfect life and discover your true self and purpose and direction, you start with the perfect day. We have to identify what the perfect day would look like. Okay? Now again, this is an incredibly powerful exercise. This is what I went through years ago that helped me figure out what it is that I was actually going to do, what I needed to do, what my purpose was. Okay? This is it. We're diving in. Okay? It's the details and the idea of the individual perfect day that determines much of our outcome. Okay? Now here's the one question that will change you forever. And this isn't the hokey part. This is the I mean, legitimately, this is the question. This isn't the hokey, oh, this is going to change your life. No, this is the one question that'll change you forever, okay? When I told you about my 24-month transformation, it was the result of answering this one single question. If there were no limitations or consequences, what would your perfect average day look like? Now, before you answer that, either in the worksheets or on your paper, on your computer, wherever you're taking notes, wherever you're writing this stuff down, I need you to understand the power of what you're about to do. Okay? This is what is going to help you decide how you're going to get to where you want to go. So pay attention. Not like a teacher says and yells at you, pay attention, but I mean for yourself. Like pay attention to yourself. Pay attention to what you're thinking. Pay attention to what you're feeling. Really go through this, okay? But this is the question. If there were no limitations or consequences, what would your perfect average day look like? Now here's what this means. Limitations are things like financial, geographical, health, limiting people, etc. Right? So if there's no limitations or consequences, the limitations, right? So in this example, you don't have, there's no financial limitations. There's no geographical limitations, which means, in this example, you want to wake up on a beach and then you want to hike a mountain and you want to do that every day, right? There's no geographical limitations in this example. There's no health limitations. So let's say you have a broken leg right now and you can't walk. Well, don't create your perfect day around your broken leg, right? Let's just pretend there's no health limitations. There's nothing, no limiting people. There's nothing holding you back at all. Nothing's in the way. Consequences in this example, so if we're pretending there's no limitations or consequences, this is the stuff that could get you into trouble. Okay? When I say the stuff that could get you into trouble, I mean, if your perfect day is to wake up and do a pound of cocaine and then go shoot 25 hookers in the head and then go hike Mount St. Helens and then come back down and drink 25 gallons of Jack Daniels and then eat pizza until you pass out and then do the next stuff, do that. That's not something you could do every day, which is where the average comes in, right? So there are no limitations because there's no consequences, but the average means in this example, you could do this stuff every day and not die or get sick of it, right? So if you do a pound of cocaine every morning, you're going to die from that eventually. If you shoot enough people in the head, right, hiking the mountain, come back down, all the booze, right? So it's very important to be, again, step one, discovering your true self. The first part of that is being honest with yourself. So in this, we have to be not realistic in a sense of how we're limited. So don't limit yourself. Again, there's no limitations. You can do anything you want as you design this. It's your day. But on average, you could do this stuff every day and not die or get sick of it. So if you can right? Let's say every day you want to jump out of a plane without the parachute, that kills you, so you're dead. You can't continue on to the next day. But could you skydive every day? Yes, right? With a parachute. Yes, you could, if that's what you wanted to do. So again, on average, you need to make sure that this is stuff you can do every day and not die or get sick of it. If you had to repeat this day over and over and over, and it was your perfect day ever, right? That's what we're gonna get into. Okay, don't think about stuff as you think about all this. All right, so when you talk about, okay, let's say you talk about waking up and you get in your car and you're like, and I get in my brand new Lamborghini Aventador and I drive my Aventador to the mall and I drive my Aventador to the club and I drive my Aventador down to the beach, whatever it is. Again, don't think about the stuff as you think about all this. Think about the experiences that happen as a result of whatever day you're about to describe and put together. Okay, so now we're going to dive into some questions. And if at any point you need to stop this video, if at any point you need to pause it, to write, do it. And this can take a while. I mean, it took me hours to do this, hours and hours. This whole thing, there's no limit. So you don't have to rush through this video. You don't have to rush through. Again, this is training on how to discover your purpose. So it's okay if this takes a little while. And there's no limit on pages either. So if this thing ends up being, for you, it ends up being 100 pages long, that's okay. They can be 100 pages long. There's no limit. Again, we're defining what this perfect day looks like. So what I want you to do is start thinking about what your perfect day looks like. All right, you wake up. Okay, where do you live? Right, what would your house look like? Do you live by the ocean? Do you live in the mountains? Do you live on top of Mount St. Helens? Do you live on top of Mount Everest? Do you live in the jungle? Do you live next door to your parents? Do you live down the street from your best friends or your family? Do you live in the city? Do you live outside of the city? Do you live in the suburbs? Do you live on a golf course? Do you live where there's grass? Do you live in the desert? What kind of climate? Right? What would your house look like? Do you live in a mansion filled with many rooms? Do you live in a little one-bedroom hut with just the necessities? What does it look like? Are there lots of windows? How many doors? How many doors are there? Is there a big front door? Is there a driveway? Right, how many cars? How many garages are there? How big's the backyard? And what's it big for? Do you have kids? Do you have animals? Do they play back there? Is there a swing set? Is there a swimming pool? Maybe there's a whole area for parties, maybe a big barbecue. All right, what's your house look like? Next, what time would you wake up? Are you an early riser? Do you wake up at 4 o'clock? Do you wake up at 6 o'clock a.m.? You wake up at 10? You wake up at noon, 1 o'clock? Do you just wake up when you're done sleeping? Right? When do you wake up? What time do you wake up? What's the beginning of your day look like? Now again, I'm just going to ask you these questions to prompt these ideas. If something hits you as we go along, just pause it, write it down, get this stuff out. But I'll continue to ask you these prompting questions. No limitations, no consequences. This is what your perfect average day looks like. Perfect average day. The day that you could live over and over every day. Perfect average day. Okay, what would you do in the morning? Would you immediately jump in the shower? Do you go to the gym first? Do you go for a walk? Do you go for a run? Do you go out and make toast and grab a glass of orange juice while you read the morning news? Do you read the newspaper or do you turn the news on the TV? Do you go through your daily affirmations? Do you stare at the ceiling and think about your day? Do you check social media for an hour? Do you check email right away? What do you do when you wake up on your perfect day? It was your day, anything you want it to be, no limitations or consequences, average, perfect day. What are you doing in the morning? What are you thinking about? Do you roll over and say good morning to your significant other, or perhaps you're by yourself. Now again, we said no limiting people. So in this example, I'm not, nobody's going to see this. This is just for you. So let's say you do have a significant other, and your perfect average day is the days that you wake up by yourself. Again, what did we say? We need to be honest with ourselves. So don't think in terms of, well, I'm married so that person has to be there, or I'm in this relationship so that person has to be there. Again, there's no limiting people in this example. It's very important that you drill down to the mundane and ordinary stuff. What would you have for breakfast? What do you like for breakfast? Do you want eggs Benedict? Do you want bacon? Do you want cereal? Pancakes, toast, waffles? What do you want for breakfast? And then what does the mundane look like? What's the everyday average stuff look like for you? Are you walking the dog? Do you go for a run? Do you take your kids to school? Do you go down and check the P.O. box? Do you stop by your morning spot and grab your cup of coffee for the day? Right, what's the normal routine stuff? Do you shower and then shave? Do you shave then shower? Do you wash your hair that day? What do you do? What's your process? Do you just grab random clothes, or do you go lay out a couple outfits? Do you hang out in your closet? Do you spend some time in there picking out what you're going to wear? Or do you just kind of grab your t-shirt and shorts? Man, it's your perfect day. It's perfect, whatever your average perfect day looks like. It's your day. Do whatever you want. Now again, you've got to be specific. Very, very, very specific. Okay? Don't forget that. What would you spend the first half of your day doing? All right, so after you're out of the house, after you're up and going, maybe you don't leave the house. Maybe you sit down and start playing Xbox. Maybe you check the stocks. Maybe you go into the office right away. Maybe you take the morning off. Maybe you don't even work. Maybe you go sit on the beach. Maybe you hop on your longboard or your bicycle and you just kind of ride around the neighborhood. Maybe you grab your fishing pole and head down to the lake. Maybe your house is on the lake and you just step out into your backyard and go fishing. Right? What are you doing? What do you have for lunch? Who do you eat with? And maybe you're with friends. If you're with friends, how many friends you're with? Which friends are you with? What would your friends be like? What are your friends like? Right? What do your friends do? Now that could be a realistic question or not. It's up to you. It's your perfect average day. Maybe you're thinking about friends right now, but your perfect average day includes friends and you all have the same job or you all run companies. Maybe you don't right now, but maybe you all have businesses that are successful. Maybe you all have jobs you hate right now, but the perfect average day, you all wake up and talk business at lunch. What do your friends do? What kind of friends do you have? What are they like? Right? Maybe it's friends you have now. Maybe it's friends you need to make. How do they behave? What are they like? What kind of people are they? What do they do when you guys are out to breakfast? How does that work? Are they rowdy? Are they wild? What would you do for personal fulfillment? What life purpose would you strive towards? What would your business be? You run an online business? You have a brick and mortar? You sell a product? You sell a service? What time would you start work? Would you start later in the day? Would you start at 8 a.m.? Would you start at noon? Do you even have to go into an office? What do you do at work? What's your position? What's your role? What's your job? What work do you have to get done? And what are your clients like? Do you deal with clients? Maybe you're just the HR guy. And that's what you love to do. And you don't have to deal with the clients. You deal with the employees. That's fine too. Perfect average day. Now let's dive into the really big stuff. Now again, if you haven't gotten all that stuff done, please pause the video and take as much time as you need to go through this. It's very important. Okay, but now let's get into some really big stuff. What are your relationships like? Your spouse, your family, your friends. What are those relationships like? All right, and I'm not talking about, oh, we like each other. Or, oh, my relationship with my dad's good. We're buds. I'm talking about you need to dive into why. Why do they like you? Why do you like them? What do they do that you like? Why do you love them? Not just because it's your mom, or not just because it's your wife or your husband, not just because it's your kids or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, but why? What do you love about them? How do they make you feel? Perfect average day. How do they make you feel? Do they make you laugh all the time? Do they make you feel safe? Right? How do they make you feel? What do you do for family time? You guys play games? Perfect average day. You guys play games? You go to the bowling alley? Perfect average day. You can do this every day with your family. Go to the movies. What do you love to do together? What fun stuff do you do together? Not just for family time, but just in general, just all the time. Do you guys ride bikes down the boardwalk? Do you go hiking in the woods? Do you guys get on do you get on the bikes and ride around the city? Do you hop the subway together and go to a part of the city you've never been to? Do you go to new restaurants? What do you do? What would you do at night? What would you, or who would you be with in the evening? Does it wind down? Do the kids go to bed? Or does somebody else go home? Or where are you? What are you doing? Who are you with? Perfect night. Perfect average daily night. What's it look like? Do you go out? Do you go to the bar? Do you dress up? Do you go dinner? Do you go to a late movie? All right, what do you like to do at night? Who do you like to do it with? Come on, don't be dirty. God, so immature. Can't believe your brain even went there. And again, at night, where would you be? What are your thoughts as you go to sleep? As you reflect on the day, as you think back, how do you feel at the end of that day as you lay down? What are you thinking about? Are you thinking about tomorrow? Or are you thinking about today? You're going over what you got to do the next day, or are you going over everything that got done today? Everything you enjoyed, how good life was. What are you thinking about? See, these questions that I just asked you, these are all based on desired experience. They're not based on goals or things. Okay? Remember, our experiences help shape our identity. But our identity is what decides a lot of our experiences. It's almost like the experiences that we have are what validate that identity that we have. So when we know who we really are, and we know our true identity, and we're honest with ourselves, it shapes the experiences that we have. And then the experience is what we live out when we're honest with ourselves, what we want to be doing, right? Reveals our true identity. Shell versus core. Your shell will always be attracted to what your subconscious thinks about most. Okay? And your brain will always picture and focus on what you decide is most important. That's why this exercise is such a crucial exercise. It's why it's so powerful, is because if we only see the surface of what we think we are, and we relate our identity and our experiences to that surface person and those surface dreams, those surface goals, those surface wants and desires, then our subconscious will always only work towards those. We want more out of life, but our brain is constantly trying to come up with solutions to get the surface shit that we come up with. When you identify what is truly most important to you, down to the smallest detail, it changes what your subconscious and your brain focus on and help you achieve. Okay? So what your brain and subconscious are doing for you, you can change that. You can rewire that. Now, this isn't some magic voodoo type approach where you just stare at a picture of a big house and out of nowhere you suddenly just standing in a big house. That's not how this shit works. But your brain is always computing information and pumping out thoughts for you. Constantly. But unless you have a clear picture of what you want and who you are and what type of experiences you want to experience, that you want to have, your brain is going to be computing basically guesses. And if you're constantly jumbling up because your shell, your core, or your surface is changing. Oh, I like this car. Oh, I like that car. I like this person. I like that person. I like this experience. I like that job. I like this. I like that. And it changes. Your brain gets confused and starts jumbling up what it computes. Therefore, life gets a little bit confusing sometimes, doesn't it? But that's why we have to be honest with ourselves. That's why we have to paint this specific, very clear picture. The sooner you can identify what your perfect and fulfilled life looks like, the sooner your brain can start computing the information you consume to align with your identity. And you start to experience things differently because you're actually thinking differently. I don't know, I'm sure there's a fancy medical doctor, scientist, official word for this kind of stuff, but when we rewire our brain with our thoughts don't turn off. Our brain actually never turns off. We know that. And these thoughts are always pumping. These thoughts are always working. You've heard of the phrase think and grow rich, the power of positive thinking, things like that. Okay, well, this is what they mean by think it and achieve it. Okay, now I'm not personally a big fan of The Secret. Right? I'm just going to throw that out there. It doesn't break my heart whether you like that or not. But the reason I don't like The Secret is because it often confuses people into thinking that, oh, if I just think hard enough about this thing, then I'm going to get this thing, which isn't true at all. Okay? This doesn't work for lazy people. How that works, the attraction, thinking, the power of positive thinking, the secret, the idea, is rewiring your brain to basically create solutions for yourself. That's how it really works. Okay, not just, oh, if I cross my fingers and think about a new car, then one day I'm going to walk out and there's going to be a letter in my mailbox that says, hey, I got a new car for you and it's your dream car. That's not how that shit works. How it works is you're honest with yourself. You find out who you really are. You find out, you write down what you truly want to experience. And then as you go through life, your brain starts to go, oh, you know what? My writing down, everything I wrote down, I wanted to experience, I want to live in this kind of house. Right? And so you're going throughout about your day one day and your vision is clear, your direction is clear, your experiences that you want are clear. And then your brain and your subconscious are working towards that house. So one day the idea hits you, hey, I could start this business and make this kind of money. And if I had that kind of money, then I could get that kind of house. I could get the house that I really want. Okay, well, I got the business. Now how am I going to market this? Well, your brain's going to start working towards that, right? Your brain, each step of the way, is going to start creating solutions and pumping out ideas based around your identity, based around your purpose, because you know where you want to go. See, a lot of people want to find their purpose and then pick a direction. But if you have a clear idea of what your perfect life, your purpose-filled life looks like, you can rewire your brain to actually work for you. Okay, but to think that you're just going to stare at a picture of a hot chick and then all of a sudden, boom, you're going to have this hot girlfriend, it just doesn't work like that. Okay? Doesn't work like that. Instead, how about getting off your ass, going out there and not being a douchebag and being nice to women and maybe getting to know them and bringing something to the table, right? Stuff that women like. I'm no expert at women, I'll tell you that much, but There are certain things that aren't rocket science. You actually must be completely and totally honest with yourself about what you really want. You must be completely honest with yourself about getting beneath the shell and actually diving into the details of what you're really going out after in life for any of this to work. Okay? You must give a damn, and you must genuinely want to create a better life for yourself, or at least want to move forward from where you've been for so long. Okay? If you don't care and you're not congruent with your identity, none of this will actually work. And if you're not willing to dive deep and you're not willing to get under the surface and actually dig this shit up, you can just stop the video right now, because you're not the kind of person that will live a purpose-filled life. But if you want that, and you want to know what you were made for, and you want to know what you're living for, and you want a direction, and you want to have purpose, you got to dig deep. And you actually have to care. You actually have to be genuine about it. And you've got to want more than where you're at now. Once your thoughts and efforts become congruent with who you truly are, instead of just what stuff you want to have, you can more easily define and recognize not just the things you could do in life, but the things you want to do in life. I would highly recommend writing that down and putting that on your bathroom mirror. Fun fact about the bathroom mirror, side note, it's the place we all look more than anywhere else during our day. So if you ever have something you need to remember, put it on your bathroom mirror. But I'm going to read that again. Once your thoughts and efforts become congruent, once they align with who you truly are, instead of just what stuff you want to have, you can more easily define and recognize not just the things you could do in life, but the things you want to do in life. Okay? Secret weapon time. This all works so well for me because I now only live and operate out of my identity and true self. Okay? I know how miserable I became when I lived only for myself and to get stuff and be cool, which, like I mentioned earlier, still has not happened. Right? Meet me in real life. More fun and games on paper. Meet me in real life. I'm not the coolest guy in the room. Never have been. It still hasn't happened. But I thought that all that other garbage was going to matter. And I know how miserable it made me. Okay? I used to be so worried about making money and selling stuff and being liked by people. But you want to know the truth? Contrary to popular opinion, just because I know some things and have made some things work for me, look, I'm not a good salesman. Right? I'm not. Like, I break all the sales rules. In fact, this whole presentation, last video, you take this to anybody who does sales copywriting or business or anything like that, any sort of training on a professional level, right? They're going to go, oh God, what a disaster. Like, I'm just not a good salesman, right? I'm not James Bond cool. I'm not famous, right? I'm not a marketing genius. Trademarked. That is a real word. Okay? I just simply operate out of my identity. And I do a great job of providing a ton of value and help to those trying to find their purpose. Because, surprise, surprise, I actually care and I know exactly who I am and what I want. That's my secret weapon. That's why all this shit works for me. That's why all this stuff works so well for me. As a result, I'm happy, I'm content, I'm fulfilled, I know exactly where I'm headed. And people pay me good money to teach them how to do the same in their life because they receive such incredible value every time. But most importantly, okay, I'm just a regular guy who knows what it's like to be miserable and unhappy. I know exactly what it feels like to be desperate for answers. So I have some empathy for people who feel that way currently. Everything you do must come from a genuine place. And you must do everything you can to identify and stay true to your purpose. Okay? Here's some good news for you. I know that was a lot. And sometimes this stuff gets heavy, which it should. It is. It's designed that way. But check this out. By doing this exercise, you're about halfway there. Okay? Benchmark. You're about halfway there. But you are now 100% ahead of everyone else. Think about that. You're 100% ahead of everybody who has not done this, which is Host people. So you're 100% ahead of most people. You literally have this secret weapon in your back pocket that everybody else doesn't have. Kind of cool, huh? Some people can scrape by with surface shell identity and live a pretty good life, right? Hell, some people are going to go their whole life living that way. Like really, their whole life. But when you live from your shell, you constantly, follow me here, you constantly have to feed the trickster side of your brain that tells you you're not happy unless you get X, Y, Z, which means you will forever have to feed that part of your brain to continue the illusion of fulfillment. Did you catch that? Right? If you only operate from your shell and want the shit, you want the stuff, then you constantly got to feed the shell identity with stuff, right? To continue the illusion that stuff is fulfilling you. It's a black hole. It's an empty pit. There's no bottom, okay? Which would you rather have? All the money in the world, able to buy whatever you want at any time, but constantly be having to find more shit to make you happy. And if your money disappears, so does your happiness. Or would you rather have all the money in the world and everything you buy and have is just an added bonus because you know what's really important? And if your money disappeared, you would still be fulfilled and truly happy because you know you know who you truly are and what your incredible purpose and direction is. Kind of a no-brainer, right? Between the two options. But most people are actually busy trying to be the first person. They just don't know it. They've never gone through this. They've never gone through training like this, so they don't even know that they're being that person, which is why most people never get there in life because they don't really have anywhere to go. They just kind of drive until they run out of gas, and then they just stay there until they find some more gas to take them to the next dead-end town. Okay? Which person you become is your choice. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you're halfway there. Okay? Now that you've clearly defined what your perfect day looks like, and you've dug past the shell layers, you need to ensure that you can actually get there. I typed there, getting real hood on you, on that ass, okay? You need to ensure that you can actually get there. Which brings us to magical step 2. Magic wave of the wand, wizard staff, step 2. Creating a purpose-rich environment. And this is my absolute favorite thing in the entire world. This training on this, living this, doing it, my favorite thing. 1 Corinthians 15:33. One of the most gangster-ass Bible verses ever in the history of the Bible. Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. You want a bomb? If there was nothing else in this entire training, if everything existed, I should just make a one-page training that's literally just that verse. And I go, hey, here's how to find purpose in life. Here's how to live a happy life. Here's how to really, really do cool shit all the time. Boom, this verse. Incredible. Okay? If there's anything that will set you back from finding your purpose, more than anything else, it's ignoring the quality of the environment you keep yourself in. That's some shit you write down. If there is anything that will set you back from finding your purpose, more than anything else, it's ignoring the quality of the environment you keep yourself in. We're not talking about the environment as in whether it's raining or it's sunny, obviously. There are 4 crucial and mandatory key variables that must be considered when creating an environment that ensures the success of your purpose and direction. Okay, 4 things you got to focus on. And these are the key variables. I'm not just talking about ideas, good ideas, maybe they'll work, maybe. These are key variables when creating an environment that ensures, I should have capitalized the word ensures right there, because that's what this does. Ensures the success of your purpose and direction. Okay? Environment key variable number 1, company. You just read it in that verse. Powerful, powerful stuff. Okay, so now we're going to dive in again. Let's dive in. We're going to start answering these questions. Okay, we're going to start getting real with it. Okay, being honest, diving deep, getting below the surface. Who are our friends? Okay, name them. Write it down. Write down who your friends are. I'm not talking about, John, who you met 5 summers ago and you text each other like, once a year. like, who are your friends, you know? Not necessarily acquaintances, but who are your friends? Who do we get advice from? If something goes wrong, something goes down, who do you call? Half of you in your head just said Ghostbusters, and I applaud you for that. Okay? What shoulders do we lean on? When it's time to cry, when it's time to be held, when it's time to break down, and sometimes that happens, doesn't it? What shoulders do we lean on? Who is giving us suggestions? When we need a little bit of a push on what to do or where to go, we're not sure. Who's suggesting things to us? Do those people have any qualifications to give us suggestions? Say you come up with $10,000 and you want to invest it. Who's giving you suggestions on how to invest it? Are you asking broke Uncle Ricky? I guarantee you broke Uncle Ricky has some ideas on where to invest that. Is that the kind of suggestion you want? Who's giving us suggestions? How many people around us have the life we want? Go back to your perfect day. Picture that in your mind. Picture that in your brain. Does anybody around you have that life? Does anybody know what that's like? Does anybody know how to get that? Who has the life you want? Is any of your friends, anybody around you, actually have the life you want? How many people would sacrifice for you? How many people right now, if you made that phone call, can't ask questions, I'm in a bind, I need $100, I need $1,000, I need 10 grand, whatever it is. How many people would actually say yes? How many people would just do that? No questions asked. How many people are investing in us? How many people are investing in you? How many people are aware of your dreams? How many people are aware of what you want? How many people are suggesting books and courses, tapes, mentors, ideas? How many people are really kind of falling in line with you? How many people are pushing? How many people want you there? How many people are investing? How many people are spending time with you? Are our friends and family critical of our dreams? This happens more than you think. You might read that and just go, oh my gosh, this is the story of my life. When you talk about your dreams, how many friends and family shoot it down and go, yeah, right, come on, you? Oh, come on, what, you're going to go do that? Oh, you're going to have a house like that? Yeah, right. Oh, all of a sudden you're an expert on this shit? Oh, really? Suddenly you're going to go be a singer? Oh, you're going to build a business? Oh, you're going to make money online? Okay. Do the people around us fuel our ideas and ambitions? Do the people around us make us stronger and smarter? What kind of people are they? Are they good people? They do good things? Are they known for doing good things? Do they have good reputations? What are the reputations of our friends? What's the reputations of our family? Let's get a little deeper. Is your reputation made better or worse by being around your friends? Okay, when people see you around your company, when people see you around the people you're around, do they think, oh, that dude is also shitty because those people are shitty? Or do they think, who is that person that is around all of those incredible people? That person must be incredible. What's it do to your reputation to be around your friends? Are your friends known for trouble? Are they known for good stuff? How much time are you spending with them? On a scale of 1 to 10, the company you keep, do your dreams have any chance of survival? Okay? On the dream survival worksheet that you printed out, you can print it out if you want, but basically what you're going to do is you're going to list out every dream you have. I mean, and be realistic. Be realistic about it. Again, being honest with yourself. But I want you to list out those dreams you have. The big stuff. Get crazy. The big stuff you want to accomplish. As a result of the people around us, on a scale of 1 to 10, What's the likelihood that those dreams will exist based on the people around us? Not, oh, well, one of these days I'll move and I'll find new people or I'll get away from this or whatever. I mean, right now, what chance do your dreams have? Environment key variable number 2, location. This, when I first went through this, I had some ideas about what I thought location was, and this stuff blew my mind. Okay? Where do we spend our time? Okay? Where do you spend your time at? What kinds of places are they? You hang out at bars? You hanging out at libraries? You hang out in tattoo shops, doctor's offices? Do you hang out at yacht clubs? Are you down at the golf course? What kinds of places are they? Okay, who hangs out there? Who's there? Are your friends there? Do your family hang out there? Is it the neighborhood boys? Is it the neighborhood families? Who hangs out where you hang out? Big one. What is the average quality of life there? Here you are. You wrote out your average perfect day. Right? What's the average life like? If you're hanging out that little dive bar down around the corner and you walk in, is that place filled with hopes and dreams? Or is it filled with busted hopes and busted dreams? Right? The average quality of life. Now again, I'm not talking about location. I'm not talking about, oh, one time I went to this bar. I'm talking about, where do you spend your time? What conversations are usually had there? Okay, are the dudes at the dartboard just constantly talking about all the chicks they banged all weekend? Are the girls complaining about their bad boyfriends and their boring husbands? Like, what are people talking about? When you sit down and the people who you know recognize you, see you, you see each other, what are they talking about? What conversations do you have? If you were to hang there all day, every day, would you become a better person and have a better life as a result? Something to think about. Wherever you hang out, if you were to spend all of your time there all day, every day, would you become a better person and have a better life as a result? Do people there seem to be getting ahead in life? Do people there seem to be struggling in life? What kind of people are there? Who's there? What are they doing? As a result of hanging out in those places, or in that place you spend most of your time, have you ever met anyone there who was willing to invest in you? Are the people there people that would add value to your network? Okay. Have you ever met anybody there that when you met, you were like, man, our purpose is aligned and this is great and this is a really great person to know? Does anyone there have the life you want? Right? Maybe part of your daily average perfect day was the cars you drive, the cars that are parked in the garage. Right? Does anybody there have the cars you want? Does anybody there have the things you want? Do they have the relationships and the families you want? Do they have the houses you want? Do they have the businesses you want? The successes you want? Do they have any of that? Do the people there know who they are? When you look around, do you feel positive and encouraged by what you see? Right? In the mental mind, the picture that comes to my mind was very vivid. It was those depressed years, those purposeless years that I had after living my purpose for so long. But then my purpose, that depression that I said that I got in because I didn't know how to relate to people. I didn't know how to help people live their purpose and their passion. Right? And the vivid picture in my mind is I'd get off work and I'd have nobody to hang out with. Nobody Nobody to sit and talk to. So I just go to the bar. That's what I did. And I never felt positive and encouraged. I looked around, I saw the same people doing the same shit every night, getting drunk. Dudes taking chicks home, chicks waiting to be taken home. It's just a bad atmosphere. Same jobs, same BS, same garbage, constantly, all the time, nonstop. Not good. Okay? The places you hang out, is it a place of good character and ambition and strength and moral standing? What kind of people are these? Is this a place where the upright, and I'm not talking about religious stuff, whatever you feel on any of that stuff. I'm just about like upright. People have a good reputation, good neighborhood standing. People know these people. Is this where they go? Right? Is this a place that feeds good ideas? Is this a place that encourages a person to be better? Does this place help clarify your purpose, or does it confuse it? Right? Does being there add to your credibility, or does it take from it? Right? It's hard to talk about being a pastor and trying to teach people how to live the good Christian life if you're constantly at strip clubs, right? I mean, these extreme examples, things like that. If you keep going to the strip club every night, meeting with the same stripper, and you start to get emotionally attached because her job is to trick you and make you feel like she's into you, suddenly you start to question maybe your relationship with your girl or your wife, right? It makes things difficult. Do these places help clarify your purpose, or do they confuse it? Does being there add to your credibility or take from it? Right? Maybe you're a woman in a marriage and you're going through some stuff. And you want more for you and your husband. You want more for your marriage. You want more for your life. But you're constantly around girlfriends. You're constantly around places where there's a ton of gossip. Girls that are angry at men. And you constantly hear that all day. And you want things to work with your husband. You want things to get better, but you're constantly around people. Constantly around people that all they do is talk shit. It starts to confuse the purpose. Starts to confuse the goal. Well, maybe this won't work out. Right? You're letting them control instead of you control the outcome and the experience. Location, right? Very important. Environment key variable number 3, adding value. You are the sum average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. Have you ever heard that? Okay. Who you spend time with will determine who you become. Okay, now this is forward thinking, so this is adding value. So we already know who you spend time with now. Right? Now we're going to talk about who you can start hanging out with. Right? You have your average, you have your perfect day in mind, your perfect life. You've got your goal, your visual. Now we're going to talk about future, moving forward. Okay? Who do you know that has your dream life? Really think about this. Who do you know that has your dream life? Do you know anybody that has your dream life? What you want to do? Do you know anyone who does know anybody that has that life? Who could you call? Maybe you personally don't know anybody who's doing what you want to do, but maybe you know somebody. You could call that person and say, hey, can you connect me with somebody? Do you know anybody who is doing this or lives this way or has this life or has reached this goal or accomplished this experience or has this purpose? Maybe you could call somebody and say, who do you know like that? And maybe they can put you in touch with somebody. Okay? Where can you find people who have your dream life? Where do they spend time? All right? So maybe you want to be the CEO of a big company one day. Maybe you're just starting out in business school and that's your goal, and you want to run a big Fortune 500 company one day. Well, if you're new to college, Right? Hanging out with college buddies, that's fine. That's part of what you do in college, I guess. I don't know. I only went for 5 weeks. Hated it. But my guess, after all this time, and after seeing what company will do to a person's ability to accomplish or not, my guess is you might want to find some Fortune 500 CEOs. You might want to find some people who know some Fortune 500 CEOs, or find some people who used to be, and find out where they spend their time. Where are they chilling? Where are they kicking back? Where are they relaxing? How can you get around those places and those people? Okay, how do you find them? How do you get around them? How much time are you willing to spend around those places and those people? What do those people spend their time doing? Are they always just sitting around? Are they constantly reading? Are they learning? Are they going to conferences? Are they sailboating? What are they doing? What do they read? What do they watch? What do they listen to? Books, tapes, movies, audiobooks? What titles? What categories? What are they learning about? Do they have a process of learning? Is half their learning spent on finances and the other half on business? Or is a quarter of their learning on marketing, and then a quarter on business, and a quarter on finances, and a quarter on relationships? I mean, what are they learning? What are they actually diving into personally themselves? What do they study? How often do they work? And this is crucial because you're wanting to be like these people, but here's the deal. You might find out that a Fortune 500 CEO works like 20 hours a day at the office and doesn't have a family and can't support that or sustain that because he works at the office. So if you're a family man and you got kids and you got a wife to take care of and you got a house to keep, you might find out that a CEO of a Fortune 500 company might not be feasible. I'm not saying you can't do it, but you're going to have to now make the choice. You're going to have to decide, is that something you want? But you're not going to know that until you find these guys hanging out. You got to find out what it's like. How often do they work? How often do they play? Right? What are their goals? The people you want to be like, the people that have the life you want, what are their goals? What can you learn from them? Can you learn how to start a business? Can you learn how to build a business? Can you learn how to market? Can you learn patience? Can you learn values, characters? The 29 purpose indicators that we'll talk about in a minute. What can you learn from these people? Here's the big one. Are you willing to spend more time around the people who live your dream life than those who don't? This is where you get to go back to your friend list and your family list. Is anybody in your life right now currently living your dream life? And if not, are you willing to spend more time around those who are than those who aren't? I'm not talking about ditching your family so that you can go hang out with successful people. But I'm talking about, hey, when work is done at the end of the day and you kick back around a fire with a beer, are you going to do it around complainers and people who don't think big? Or are you going to go kick back with that same beer around people who are actually talking about a future and moving forward towards your dream life? Are you willing to spend that time? Okay. Here's some homework. Write this stuff down and do this. This is powerful stuff, okay? First part, find 5 people you can get to know. 5 people that you can get to know that have your dream life. I want you to make that list. I want you to list out who you can get to know, or I want you to find out who knows people that might. You're going to have to do some research on this. You're going to have to find this. You're going to have to find some people to get around. 5 people that you can get to know. So it might take you a few days, it might take you a couple weeks, a couple months. It might take you a while to find these people. It might happen right away. It's up to you. Once you do, I want you to ask them how you can grow. Ask them what you should be learning, right? What should you be focused on right now? It's like starting a business, right? Is finding the right color stapler really matter? Is that really important? Is building a website for your business really important right off the bat? Right? Do you really need that stuff right now? What should you be learning about? Find out what they did to get where they are. Learn their stories. Find out how they did it. Find out how they got to where they're at. Where do they go to learn? Do they go to conferences? Do they go to the library? Do they go to Barnes and Noble? Where do they go to learn? Do they just take people to lunches all the time? I know a guy that pays $100,000 a month. He invests $100,000 a month into his personal education. That often means calling up influencers that he can learn from, and he says, hey, I'll pay you this amount of money to fly out here and spend a day with me. And sometimes they'll spend, 50 grand just to fly somebody out so that he can learn from them. Okay, so where do they go to learn? Who do they hang out with? Can you spend time with them in their network? Is that an option? Environment key variable number 4. Mindset. The most fireproof way to make sure you get where you want to go. Mindset. Everything we do in life begins and ends with a thought. What our minds believe is what our lives will achieve. There's an incredible amount. I was going to put some quotes and stuff here. You can Google them yourself. Just Google the importance of mindset. Shit is everywhere. I mean, there's no mystery around the importance of what is going on in your mind. How you view the world, how you view things, how you see it all, okay? Putting yourself around successful people can be very difficult. Now let's talk about those 5 people, right? That might not happen. When I was young, I didn't know any successful people that were doing what I wanted to do. None. I had to look. Like hell I had to look. Man, I had to go everywhere. I had to look. If you want to reach the life you've envisioned and get there with purpose and confidence of your direction, the best thing you can do is become the type of person that will attract what and who you're looking for. Have you ever noticed, right? And I do not apologize for the political incorrectness of this because it's honest and it has to be said. Have you ever noticed that rich people hang out with other rich people? Have you ever noticed that fat people hang out with other fat people? Ever noticed that broke people hang out with other broke people? You ever notice that mean people hang out with other mean people? Dumb people usually hang out with dumb people. Smart people hang out with other smart people, right? People that know how to build robots hang out with other people that know how to build robots. Why? Why is it that people, what's the saying? Birds of a feather flock together. Why is that? It's because of this right here. Every type of person thinks a certain way. And if you go back to this, the best thing you can do is become the type of person that will attract what and who you're looking for. If you can't find the people to get around, if you can't find the people that have your life that you want, if you can't find the places to go, the best thing you could possibly do is to become the type of person that those people are. And you do that by developing the mindset they have. Negative people think a certain way. Broke people think a certain way. Angry people think a certain way. Right? You ever known any complainers? Maybe you are the complainer. The victims. Oh, this is always going wrong. Oh, nothing ever goes right. Oh, woe is me, right? Those kinds of people, they think a certain way. But guess what? So do happy people. So do positive people. So do enlightened people. So do powerful people. Fulfilled people. Successful people think a certain way. People of purpose think a certain way. And they spend time around other people who think that way as well. Everything we do and become begins with a thought. Every single thought we have directs our emotions and our actions. Okay? If we don't intentionally and directly build productive thought patterns and habits, our mind will continually work against us every single time. So if we don't learn to become the type of person that we want, that we need to be to accomplish what we want to accomplish, like we talked about earlier with not having clear direction, If we don't have any direction and where we're going, then our brain has nothing to direct us to. There's nothing to think about. If we don't intentionally and directly build productive thought patterns and habits, our mind will continually work against us. Purpose-driven people spend time with and benefit from being around other purpose-driven people because they often have the same productive habits and they think similarly. Even if we find the right people to be around, it can be very difficult to get to know and bring value to them because we're not in the same mindset. Everyone who has successfully found their purpose, discovered their true selves, decided on a confident direction, and reached their dreams and goals, all had help learning how to adopt the right mindset. They all found the right programs, mentors, and material to study, and learned how to become the best version of themselves. All of them did this. These types of people that we strive to be like often are very similar when it comes to the habits and strategies they use to get ahead and stay ahead. Purpose-driven people aren't just dedicated to what they do, they're even more dedicated to who they are and what they are constantly becoming. Catch that? Purpose-driven people aren't just dedicated to what they do, they're even more dedicated to who they are and what they become. That's the difference between purpose-driven people and people that never figure it out. People that wander around never focus on what they become. They're always focused on, what do I do? What do I do? Crazy, right? In the early 1900s, before technology allowed us to learn openly and freely, aka the internet, okay, how'd you learn about all this? Successful men all knew each other. And they learned from the best through these, what's called orations. An orator, that was a really smart guy who would go in, like Henry Ford would go in and talk to these men about business success. And right, so they would, all the successful men, all the rich guys would go to these events and they would hear from other rich guys. They'd go to universities, go to Oxford, and they'd go to Harvard, and they'd go to Stanford, and they'd go to all these, higher education places. And they would hear these guys talk. So it was exclusive. It was exclusive to the high society. Couldn't get in if you were poor. These sorts of events were only known to the highest scholars. And it was at these events that the great titans of industry would gather to learn and share new ideas with one another. Okay? Titans like Carnegie and Getty and Edison. Okay? The men who founded and built the greatest industries on earth knew the value of steady and constant learning. All of them did that. So number 4, environment key number 4 is the mindset. Why do you think these guys were able to do such big things? Because they were committed to constant learning. See, successful people never get to a place where they go, oh, cool, no, I already read that book. Successful people say, yeah, I read that book once a month. Successful people never stop reading the book. Poor people do that. Broke people do that. Lost people do that. Unhappy people do that. The areas of focus that these men could be found studying and becoming better at are the same 29 purpose indicators that when any of us regularly become better at can either propel us towards the fulfilled life, or if neglected and left undeveloped, will leave us empty and lacking the necessary components to reach the fulfilled life. Okay? So these 29 purpose indicators, if we study them and follow them and master them, we get the fulfilled life. If we ignore them, then we lack the necessary components to reach the fulfilled life. We never get there. Want to know what they are? Want to know what these 29 purpose indicators are? Here's the deal. If I tell you what they are, you will now be responsible to them. Because you haven't been told them up until today, which means you had an excuse. But once I tell you these right now, you no longer have an excuse, because now you know what the most successful and purpose-driven men and women in history have studied. And now that you know what they've been studying, what they learned how to master, now you're responsible to that information. You can no longer use ignorance as an excuse. Okay? You will be 100% responsible to take action, immediate action as a result, and you'll have to learn to master each purpose indicator if you really want to master and accomplish your purpose. and build a life around that. So if you want to be lazy and you're scared and you're too fearful and you just want to stay ignorant to all this stuff, you can turn the training off. But if you really want to find a life of purpose and you really want to do big things and you want to do and learn and see and taste what that fulfilled life looks like, here you go. If you choose to learn and master these 29 purpose indicators, you'll know the very secrets and keys that have either propelled all great men to the top or, if ignored, left brilliant minds untapped and desolate. So if you're ready to know how to get the fulfilled life that you outlined for yourself earlier, your perfect day, your perfect life, and you're ready to activate the purpose indicators that will allow you to accomplish great things, then here they are. 1, attitude. Okay? This is how you react to situations, how you feel about the world. Purpose-driven people learn to master their attitudes. Number 2, direction. We talked about this today, how you get to your purpose. Finding purpose isn't enough. You got to know how to get there. Purpose-driven people learn to master their directions, and they understand that discovering a powerful direction is more important when it's in favor of their purpose. Journey versus destination, the idea that it's not about the destination, it's all about the journey. That's partly true. The reality of that statement is most people don't know where they're going. Most people don't know what the destination is, so they're wandering, so their journey is irrelevant. If they knew where they're going, then the journey becomes very beneficial. But the only people I know that say it's not about the journey, it's about the destination, or it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, are people who had no idea where they're going. Right? The only people that say the journey is more important than actually getting there are people who have no idea where the hell they're going. Knowing where you're going and then tying a journey along with that aligns with your purpose, how you get there, your direction, right? Now the journey matters. Number 3, fulfillment. Being okay with the now. Purpose-driven people do not feel empty if they don't have everything they want immediately. Instead, they embrace the moment and they find the silver lining in everything. Purpose-driven people use this as a powerful ally. Right? At the moment, right, tomorrow is the inauguration of our new president, and a lot of people are fearful and critical. You know what purpose-driven people are busy doing? They're busy becoming better. They're busy with their businesses. They're busy on their journeys. They're busy, right? Everybody else is complaining and worried and all about. They're fighting and they're arguing. And it's getting nasty. But the people that are changing the world, you know what they're doing? They're still reading the same books. They're still learning the same stuff. They're hanging out with the same mentors. They're focused. They're disciplined. They have their eye on the prize. Okay? The silver lining is that, yes, things are going to change. But those who are paying attention can adapt to that change. Those that are paying attention can benefit from that change. And they're still alive. Right? There's still much to be gained. They find the silver lining in everything. Fulfillment. Right? These aren't purpose-driven people are not whiners. Right? They learn to see the good in everything. Habits. The daily rituals that drive you towards your purpose or keep you from it. The question is, are you developing the necessary habits to help you get where you want to be? When I teach these 29 indicators to my students, this is a big one. Right? It's not about developing necessary habits, it's not just about developing good habits, it's about developing the right good habits. Are you currently developing the right good habits to help get you to your purpose? Because your habits might be different than mine, because your purpose might be different than mine. 5, self-discipline. The iron will and dedication that keeps you on track as you move toward and build your fulfilled life. Okay, learn how to build this the right way and you literally become unstoppable. All right, a good analogy, good metaphor to use for the, or at least word picture for self-discipline is think of like a big, large steel locomotive, full speed ahead. That thing's going regardless, no brakes, doesn't matter what's in its way. That thing is going to go. Self-discipline, that's what self-discipline looks like. I'm going. The iron will and dedication. Learn how to build this the right way and you become unstoppable. I promise. Number 6, organization. This isn't about keeping the sticky notes organized on the fridge and the desk, okay? This is how you keep your vision and steps clear and guided. Guided being the key word here. You know what steps you need to take, but how are you going to take each step? Right? There's certain ways to do this, to organize your steps, to make sure that you accomplish each one. Purpose-driven people learn to organize the right things so that things work for them and not against them. Number 7, commitment. Staying dedicated to the right things regardless of emotion or difficulty. What are you committed to? Are you committed to the right things? You know, my students are always kind of shocked when we get to this point. We start talking about the commitments that they have, what they're committed to, what they thought was important, and then we go through the part of the 29 indicators where we get to this and we break this down for them, and they realize, man, they didn't realize that they were committed to the wrong things, and 2, they didn't know that they needed to be committed to certain other things, and sometimes small things that they could be committed to those things, right? Dedicated to the right things, regardless of emotion or difficulty, right? It's like being healthy. You go to the gym even when it hurts. You go to the gym even when you're tired. You go to the gym even though it sucks, right? Stay committed, and eventually you look pretty bomb diggity. That body starts showing in them clothes. Look good on the beach in the summer. 8, consistency. Keeping the right tempo and putting in the right efforts regularly. Number 9, servitude. Purpose-driven people have learned the secret and the power of giving back. Serving others provides a certain fulfillment that nothing else can provide. This is true. Okay, there's actually a chemical reaction that happens when you give. When you give to somebody. Powerful, successful, purpose-driven people, right? Who are the largest givers of donations to charities? Rich people, successful people, powerful people. There's power to it. There's some incredible things that happen when you learn how to do this right. Number 10, mindset. It's not just what you think about, but how you think about it that determines the strengths of your thoughts. Okay, so you got to learn to master your mindset. Very, very important. I do this is one of my largest trainings I do in the 29 indicators because it's so, so, so crucial. How to build this ironclad mindset. Super cool once it works. Once you put it into play. 11, encouragement. A kind word turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. That's some more Bible truth for you right there. Encouragement, okay? You want to make somebody mad, keep yelling at them. You want to calm them down? Say nice things. Crazy concept, I know. Learning the art of this indicator can win you through the hardest battles, but most people do it wrong. Right? Encouragement, mastering encouragement. It's an incredible gift. 12, motivation. The drive that propels you towards your purpose. Earlier we talked about self-discipline, and the locomotive is self-discipline. Nothing can get in the way. Motivation is the coal that goes into the engine. Right? Motivation is what you put in. Motivation is what keeps you going. Right? That steam engine, that self-discipline is only as good as the motivation behind it. It's the drive that propels others, not just ourselves too. Learning to motivate the people around you is as crucial as learning to stay motivated yourself. There's an immense amount of power in learning to put coal in other people's engines as well as it is our own. Very powerful. 13, happiness. This is much more than smiling, right? This is more than just like, oh, I'm just going to put on a smile, I'm going to walk around, I'm going to whistle, I'm going to twirl my cane, which is super dope. But more than just smiling, okay? This is a way of thinking. Okay? Purpose-driven people learn how to create and operate out of a state of mind that promotes happiness. I didn't say that purpose-driven people are constantly just happy all the time. They operate out of a mindset, though, that promotes happiness. So they are most often happy. Not only is happiness good for the soul, but once learned and genuinely shown outwardly, it's part of what attracts the right people to you. Hint, hint, hint. 14, positivity. Choosing to think well of people and situations regardless of internal or external indicators. Saying, you know what, that sucked, I'm going to stay positive. Hey, that was awesome, I'm going to stay positive. Hey, that was my fault, I'm going to stay positive. Or hey, that was not my fault, but I'm going to stay positive. Whether internal or external, regardless of situation. Positivity, choosing to think well of people and situations. Very, very, very powerful tool that if you can learn to master it, it works incredibly in your favor. 15, confidence, carrying yourself in a sure manner and feeling sure of others and scenarios, whether in control or out of control. Okay, I'm going to walk down the street confidently today. I'm looking good in my suit, just got my hair cut. It starts raining. I'm not in control of that. But guess what? I'm still just going to walk confidently. I'm going to carry that confidence with me. I'm going to walk into this boardroom confident of what I know. I walk in and I was supposed to be meeting with the CEO. Instead, I've got the vice president. Instead, I've got a lower level representative. Maintaining confidence, even when things don't go your way. Also, increasing confidence in others around you, especially when you're not in control or when they're not in control. Right? So providing not only confidence for yourself, but confidence to the people around you. Mastering this is pretty, gosh, it's crucial. Very crucial. Also goes in line with charisma. 16, honesty, which is still the best policy, right? Crazy to think about. Okay, this one isn't just about telling people the truth, but developing beneficial habits that create a truthful confrontation of yourself, what you want and who you really are, which allows your purpose to reveal itself. The power of honesty is that if we learn to be honest, we develop the habit of honesty, it actually allows us to be honest with ourselves when we're confronting ourselves. What did I talk about earlier? What was the first thing you needed to do when discovering your true self? Was be honest with yourself. Because when we get into a habit and we learn to master honesty, it's not just about, yes, I took the cookie from the cookie jar. Right? It's not just about that. It's about the habit of creating a truthful confrontation. It carries over into everything. So if we're truthful about the cookie in the cookie jar, then when I go, okay, who am I really? I'm willing to be honest. Or when I go, what do I really want? I'm willing to be honest. Or I go, hey, did I screw that up? I'm willing to be honest. And it puts me in a position where I can grow and develop myself into the type of person that I need to be for my purpose to reveal itself. 17, patience. Most people want everything and they want it now. Purpose-driven people learn how to stay steady and move forward without rushing things. Number 18, environment. Your surroundings, who you're around and where you spend your time. Purpose-driven people build environments that promote their purpose. You can literally customize this to ensure that you reach your goals. People who have no purpose submit themselves to environments that steal their purpose and dreams. 19, distractions. Literally anything. Distraction is anything that keeps you from accomplishing your goals and living the fulfilled life. So if you set your goals and you're honest with where you're at and you know where you're going, anything that gets in the way of you doing that is a distraction. Purpose-driven people learn to identify even the smallest distractions that hinder their progress. And some of them are crazier than you think. Some of them are easier to miss than you think. We're not just talking about the street blew up today and I couldn't get around it. Sometimes it's the small stuff. 20, mentors. Simply put, they're those that know what you don't. Right? They're people that are smarter than us. Mentors provide the right training and the right direction, and they actually expedite the learning curve. Okay? Mentors make you able to get to where you want to go faster than if it's just you trying to figure it out yourself. Right? Remember the Haiti example? We wouldn't have to go through that if we'd listened to the smarter person. Remember the garden metaphor? Right? We wouldn't have had to gone through all that hard work. Instead, let me put you in the garden and give you the basket. Let me teach you the 29 indicators so that you can learn, so you don't have to go through all that BS yourself, the years and years of toil and trouble. Right? That's what mentors do. All successful people have mentors, all of them. And they all encourage it and praise the idea, all of them. 21, friendship, the relationships you build that keep you human. Right? Purpose-driven people understand the value of having the right friends, and they know how to get them. Purpose-driven people know how to find the right people to build friendships with. 22, inspiration. Sources of stimulation that enforce your excitement and focus. Purpose-driven people keep their sources of inspiration sacred, and they use them often. It's like an unlimited bank account of which you can withdraw an infinite amount. Imagine having a bank account where no matter what, right now, you just keep pulling money. The money would never end. There was never, the money never ran out. Okay? Inspiration is the same thing. When you find sources of inspiration that fuel and feed your excitement and your focus effectively, you combine that with the other 29 indicators and the world is yours. 23, planning and strategy. Not just setting goals, but setting the right goals in the right order to maximize your results. Most people are just writing goals. Most people, if they do any of this at all, are just setting goals. And they're saying, hey, these are my goals. This is where I want to go. This is what I want to do. Yeah, I think I want to go over here. So here's what I need to do to get there. But they don't really plan for it. They don't take anything into account. They just go, yeah, I want to be successful. All right, cool. That's not a goal. That's just an idea. That's just something you saw somebody else do. And you're like, oh, that looks nice. So I think I want to do that too. That's not a goal. There's no strategy behind that. There's no map to that. Right? But purpose-driven people plan and strategize everything they do. Everything is on purpose. Everything is intentional. Each step they take, everywhere they go, it's on purpose so that they can maximize the results. 24, education, the most important asset a purpose-driven person has. Learning is valuable, but learning the right information is priceless. I'll never forget it. I heard a guy talk about one of his mentors one time, and the mentor asked, who are you learning from right now? And he said, well, I'm reading this book by this billionaire. The mentor asked, why? And the guy goes, well, he wasn't a billionaire. The mentor asked, who are you reading? And the guy said, I'm reading this book by this doctor. And the mentor said, well, why? Why are you reading that book? The guy said, well, because he's a doctor. And the mentor said, yeah, but is he qualified? Like, what qualifies him to speak into your life? What qualifies? And the young man said, well, because he's a doctor. So it must be valuable, right? And the mentor said, well, that depends on what you want. It depends on where you're going. It depends on how valuable the information is you're reading. A lot of times we think that anybody who is successful is worth listening to. And it's not. You can go to Barnes & Noble right now and look at 1,000 different titles. You can go on Google and find 100 million different things to read and learn. Which ones do you read? Which ones do you learn? Purpose-driven people not only have a clear direction of where they're going, but they actually have a clear direction of who they're learning from and why they're learning from those people, what they're learning about. It's all part of the strategy. Learning is valuable, but learning the right information is priceless. 25, ideas, the combined result of knowledge and purpose. When you take what you know and you combine it and make it congruent with your purpose, ideas happen. When you know your purpose and you learn the right things, your ideas become powerful tools that can be used to create any type of fulfilled life you can imagine. Now, let's think of the contrary, the opposite end of that spectrum. If you don't know what your purpose is and you don't have any knowledge about it, what kind of ideas do you think you're going to come up with? Not ones that are going to help you, right? They're just going to be ideas. And, oh, well, I'm going to invent a Rubik's Cube that, floats in water and produces Twinkies all at the same time so that if you ever fall in the ocean, you don't die, right? Like, yeah, if that thing existed, that might be cool. But is that really your life's purpose? Like to create a Twinkie-producing floating Rubik's Cube? Just seems a little out there. Whatever. Man, I hope you make $1 million off it. I hope you make $1 billion off it. But you see what I mean? The idea is if we don't have any knowledge about who we are, if we don't know what we want, we don't know what our purpose is, our ideas don't benefit us. Because we're constantly coming up with ideas blind, going, well, this might work. I hope this is. That's why you find these people that go, oh, yeah, I'm going to join this business. Or now I'm going to buy this product. I'm going to buy that product. I'm going to buy this book. I'm going to buy that ebook. And they never get anywhere because they have no knowledge of who they are and they have no purpose that they're heading towards. So their ideas always mislead them. Okay? Ideas, the combined result of knowledge and purpose. 26, priorities. Deciding which ideas and steps are the most important and putting them in an order that serves your purpose. So now, further than just ideas, we combine them with the steps, the planning and strategy we talked about, and we put them in an order that serves your purpose. Lots of people know how to get things done and stay busy, but purpose-driven people know exactly what to do, in what order, and when to do them. And as a result, they remain incredibly effective and efficient. Very important. 27, accountability. Straight up, just being held to your damn word. That's what it is. Just like blueprints and zoning permits hold a builder accountable to the correct materials and measurements and permits required to create a building safely, properly, and beneficially from the ground up, so accountability keeps us on track to accomplishing what needs to be done. Necessary accountability to aid in succeeding. Okay, purpose-driven people know what accountability they need to find. This isn't about having your cousin, your broke Uncle Ricky again, saying, hey man, can you hold me accountable to my finance goals? Is Ricky the best guy to hold you accountable to that? Or might you want to know might you want to find somebody who knows how to manage money to the end of your financial goals, to hold you accountable, to keep you steady, to keep you focused, right? Hold you to your word. 28, mapping, one of my favorites, outlining all the possible ways that you can get to a desired destination. The only way to find the best way to get to a desired outcome is to know first all the possible ways to a desired outcome, right? MapQuest, pull it up on your phone, you type in where you're going. I said MapQuest, like Google Maps or whatever, right? When you type in the destination, it usually gives you, unless there's a clear route, sometimes it'll give you 2 or 3 different routes. There's a million ways to get to a place. But mapping allows us to find the best and most efficient way to get there. A lot of people are heading towards their dreams, but they're not taking the best route because they didn't map it out. They didn't really discuss or figure out what the best way to get there was. Purpose-driven people know how to identify all possible routes and eliminate, this is what's key, eliminate those routes that don't get them there in the most efficient way. And the hint is, fastest doesn't always mean best. We're not traveling cross country. Okay? Fastest doesn't always mean best. And 29, goal setting. All your desired outcomes, all of them, and all the necessary steps required to get there. Not all goals are created equal. Finding your true purpose and discovering your true self will reveal the necessary goals that must be set for you to acquire your fulfilled life. Now let's do a quick recap. Now that we've been through the 29 indicators and you know what purpose-driven people study and master with the help of mentorship, with the help of teachers, putting this stuff into practice and building incredible lives. Okay, here's what we just went over real quick, so we can just refresh real quick before we move on. We talked about what you need to do to discover your purpose in life, how to identify your purpose and create a clear understanding of what your purpose is. We talked about once you've discovered your purpose, how to ensure that you actually accomplish the fulfilled life that you obviously want. All right, we did that by the 2 steps to discovering your purpose and direction and exactly how to get there. 1 was discover your true self by detailing your perfect day. This leads to a clear and realistic visual in your mind that shows your subconscious what you want to accomplish and allows it to work towards it. Step 2 is creating a purpose-rich environment to guarantee that you become the type of person you need to be to live out of your purpose and accomplish your goals and dreams. Your environment consists of what goes on around you as well as the environment in your brain and thoughts. It's not just what's external, internal environment as well. Okay, we talked about recently, just now, we talked about the 29 indicators that all purpose-driven people study and master. The importance of following a system, having a partner to link up with that will help you accomplish the things we just talked about. Now, the solution, if you want it. Okay, what I'd like to do is share with you an idea I have about finding your true self and your true purpose in general, and about how I can maybe help you personally accomplish that, if that's okay. Cool? First, here's a simple question. Would you like to have this kind of value and training delivered to you every month? Everything we just went through, top to bottom, mapping it out, what to do, how to do it, how it works, why it's important, breaking it down so that you can chew it and digest it and apply it. You can make it work for you right now. Would you like to have what you just went through, the purpose training? Would you like to have this kind of value and training delivered to you every month? Would you want me to send that to you? Do you want me to send you training like this every month? Yes? Then here's an idea. With this idea of learning how to master the necessary indicators that will help you discover your purpose and actually accomplish it, let me tell you how I can make that happen for you, okay? To get around the right information, to make you think bigger, and will help you it'll help take where you're currently at and where you want to be to the next level, okay? So not just where you think you need to go or where you want to go, but taking all those ideas and taking the whole thing, the whole package, all of it to the next level. For me, I call this my Purpose Mastery Group. Okay, and you might already have a group like this, you might not have a group like this, but this is a program that I want to tell you about before we wrap up today's training. Because once you hear about it, I think you'll understand that this is a good idea whether you do it with me or not. Okay, once you get around something like this, it is life-changing. Life-changing. It's the value of getting around the right information to allow you to think bigger and actually live out of your purpose, which is where the magic happens. People ask me all the time how I was able to live my dream life the last 10 years. And a program like this has been invaluable to me the entire way, right? The single most important thing I've learned, how do I leverage the right information in a more intelligent way? See, learning it isn't enough. It's how to leverage it in the most intelligent way possible. What I discovered was I was learning a ton of different information from a ton of different people and sources, right? I couldn't find my purpose. This is back when this all started. I was learning a ton of different information from a ton of different people and sources. Real quick, have you ever sought out information before on how to find your purpose in life and how to actually accomplish it? Have you ever looked for that? The problem with most purpose information is the information is not set up correctly. Most purpose information gets annoying because although the surface level info is good and it gets your brain going and the person is positive and excited, here's what they do that screws everyone up. They touch on all sorts of different ideas and habits and concepts, and what ends up happening is it turns into a long list. It just turns into a ton of long stories and jumbled and unorganized information. And maybe you're finally able to make sense of a few pieces of information. But when you try to make sense of how it applies to your life and your purpose, the information is way too vague and surface level. And the information never actually tells you how to break everything down and how to pull out the right details so that you can apply it to your life and benefit from it. Most of it comes in the form of a quick little blog post they put up real quick last night, which is nuts because seriously, do they really expect you to figure out your life purpose from a blog post? All right, I see this all the time. There's an author the other day I was looking at, and he put up this, he goes, here's how to find your purpose. And it literally was like, it took 2 seconds to read this whole thing. And I thought, really? Like, this is what he thinks, like, this is going to lead people? Blew my mind. Okay? They don't know what your goals are or what your dreams are. They don't know what your perfect day looks like. They don't know what habits you need to create. They don't show you how to apply anything or give you real examples of how their surface level info works. They just give you the raw hype, and they repeatedly tell you, yeah, like you can do it, get out there, go for it. Good job, keep it up. Then you're left wondering, but what the hell am I supposed to do from here? Right? It gets very frustrating. They give you all this advice, but they give you no examples of how they did it. And again, they never give you real examples of how this stuff works. So you get the one or two pieces of information that kind of makes sense, if you can make sense of it at all. And as a result, nothing happens. There's no effectiveness because it doesn't tie together, because you're not really sure what to do next. See, the people who put out all that other quote unquote purpose information forgot why people were looking to learn how to find purpose. Do you know why you join a group like this? To grow, yes. But how do you grow? And I want to share this because when you join a group like this, you'll first need to understand this. The reason you join a group like this and get yourself in front of the right information that can help you grow and find your purpose is two reasons, and only ever two reasons. You're going to join my group for only two reasons. Reason you join my group, number one: new strategies. Right? New strategies. Tell me what works. Show me how it works. Tell me how to grow. Show me the steps. Tell me how to apply this. Tell me how this is going to go. Tell me how this will help. Tell me what I can expect. Give me the strategies. Give me the ideas. You want to learn the most effective strategies and ideas on how to find your purpose and live the fulfilled life. Yes? Right? Reason you join my group, number two: the clarity and confidence you get once you have those things. Now I know what to do. Now I know how to break this down. Now I know where to go. Now I know who to talk to. Now I know my purpose. Now I know how to think. Now I know what to focus on. Now I know where I'm going. Now I know how to get the fulfilled life. What the other so-called purpose guys don't realize is that people only join for those two reasons. Give me the strategies. Give me the confidence and clarity. That is why you're joining. And because that's true, you need to make sure you join a group that is allowing you to accomplish those two things strategically. If you ever join a group and get information on how to find your purpose, and you didn't get strategies that work and the confidence and clarity you want, you should leave that group or information immediately and find another place to learn what you need, because that's not why you're there. Everything I've ever gone through on finding purpose handles the process terribly, because they just lump together a ton of information that kind of sounds good, but they never taught how to apply it and make it applicable to me. They never teach you how to do it. And that's not what you're there for. You join for those specific two reasons, and they never deliver. And the more I started to realize this, I started to think, dang, maybe I should build my own group. Because I was paying all this money and spending all this time on information from all the big guys, but I wasn't getting what I needed. And no one else was getting it either. So what do we do? The second thing I started to think about was the direction that people like us were actually going. And when I say us, I mean those who think like you and I. Those who know we have a big purpose in life and who want to live a fulfilled life and do good in this world. Those who want to live fulfilled lives with real meaning. And what I started to realize was that there was this huge gap and also a huge opportunity here. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that. Those that have been putting out information on finding purpose, the big guys out there, not only are they moving on and leaving us, but they're leaving a massive wake behind them of confusion and nothingness. And I mean that with all due respect. But there was a different generation when the purpose experts were there. And that generation operated by filling what I call silos. Okay? A singular cylinder thing. You've seen a silo on a farm, right? The old generation, they just filled their own silos. I build my thing, I filled my silo, I learned about me, and I grow me. They were teaching information that sounded great and that worked for that generation. They weren't prepared for our world to shift like it did, right? They didn't ever think you and I were going to see such massive shifts in information. And they didn't think we were going to be pummeled with so many different directions and options and distractions like we are. The great names of the past who have taught how to find purpose, the Tony Robbins, the Oprahs, the Darren Hardys, the late Jim Rohns, they're at the pinnacles of their careers. And all due respect, but they're on their way to figuring out what's next for themselves. They're looking for their out strategies, which leaves a huge gap. The bench is about to be left empty. What and who is the bench, you ask? The bench is those who are coming into the game after the greats have left the game? Okay? What talent is behind the leaders? That when the leaders are gone, boom, get up and get in the game and rock it out. And that's when it hit me. There is no bench. There's no lineup behind them, which is where the opportunity lies. We can be the bench. We can be the new leaders. And there were even some people, not just the leaders I just mentioned, or not any of the leaders I just mentioned, excuse me, but some other people who were going about this all very unethically and actually taking advantage of those of us who desperately wanted to find purpose. And they were selling surface information, promising the world, but not delivering. And we wanted more value. Hopefully the kind of value you felt or received from me through this entire training. And I got Southern blood in me. My bloodline's from Texas, where giving hospitality to people is a way of life. And it seemed like these other guys just didn't have my best interest in mind. They had no guarantee. They weren't helping me find my true self and purpose. They weren't asking me what I really needed. And true leaders focus on distinction, excellence, and service. And these guys weren't doing that. So my thought was, what if, since there's no bench to replace the leaders, what if this purpose group idea I have coming to mind, what if I build the bench? What if I build the new team? What if I create the new purpose group that hasn't existed before? And what if we build this new team together? Instead of just building a silo that only benefits me? What if we build the process and the thoughts and the right strategies behind it? We build the community, and we all helped each other. And we compounded our strengths. We compounded our strategies. We compounded our stories and our journeys and built it up together. So now there would be no silos, but a true empire that's coordinated and working faster for the sake of everyone. So I've seen some of the most driven, talented, potential-filled people I've ever seen. And as I looked at them, I thought, man, if they could just get the right strategies and the right support behind them, their vision and what they could do for the world could change everything overnight. Not just in their own lives, but in the world. So I came up with the idea of creating that bench, building the new team. And I want to invite you to be part of it. And I only invite people, just so you understand, I only invite people who go through this training. So I don't just send this out to everybody. I only invite people who go through this training. Because now you have a foundation to really make this purpose thing happen. So what I'd like to do now is invite you to be a part of the bench, to make you the new purpose-driven leader in your space, wherever that may be, to make you the person of influence and effectiveness in your circle, to make you the kind of person you need to be to live your fulfilled life, and be that influence and inspiration for others, to show you how the habits work and how you actually leverage the 29 indicators to your benefit and make them work for you. To put you in a situation where I'm able to train you on my secret stuff that not everybody can get. Where you get to learn from my buddy Trevor, whose business did $250,000 in his first year of him discovering his purpose and direction. Or Megan, who became the most famous female in her market, and how she accomplished and lived her purpose. Or how one gentleman very close to me has effectively managed and led thousands of people over a span of 30 years and literally finds favor and fulfillment everywhere he goes and with everyone he meets. Literally everybody loves this guy. Watch it. It's incredible what he's built. The real information that actually helps you discover your own purpose and accomplish it. What I'd like to do now is invite you to be a part of the new leaders. I'd like to invite you to be a part of this group of people where together we build each other and we become the new bench. We become the new field of first-string players. Let's do it together. Below is your invitation. Below is your chance to become one of the new leaders. More than ever, our world is desperate for brave men and women, willing to do what it takes to become great and set the tone for the next 100 years. But the greatness that's going to change the world, understand, is reserved only for those who reach out and take it. So that's what your invitation below is for. It's your chance to grab your greatness. Guts over fear. Your choice. Click your invitation below to get exclusive access to the Purpose Mastery Group now. When you do, you're going to be a partner in a group of new leaders who choose to step up, discover their purpose and direction, and who decide to do great things that they were destined for. Sound a little hokey? It used to sound hokey to me too until I did it, until I saw it, until I chose to grab the value and information you'll find inside the Purpose Mastery group. See, for me, it wasn't enough just to discover my purpose. I wanted to know what all the greats knew. I wanted to know how they thought. And I was ready to go boldly in the direction of the fulfilled life. What you get when you accept your invitation to the Purpose Mastery group isn't a fly-by-night bottle of snake oil. Okay, there's enough bad seeds out there selling bullshit cures to diseases you don't even have. And frankly, part of my purpose is helping to defeat those shady salesmen by finding those who want to live well and be forces of good in a world of pain and hurt and fear. So I created this monthly program that you're being invited to. When you join the Purpose Mastery group, you will get an incredible and in-depth training each month, like the training you went through today, delivered straight to your inbox every month. No bullshit membership sites and passwords and hoops to jump through like all the other guys make you do. Just straightforward, raw, powerful content that you can apply immediately. Each month, you'll receive training on one of the 29 purpose indicators designed to show you exactly how to discover your purpose and live the fulfilled life. But I don't want just anyone in my group. Okay, so real quick, do not join this group if you're any of the following. Get rich quick junkies. This ain't going to make you rich overnight. It can over time, but if you're trying to get rich overnight and trying to find some quick shit that you can just do real quick and trick some people, this ain't for you. I don't like people like that. I don't want to deal with people like that, and they complain a lot. Which brings me to whiners, excuse makers, right? You either want this or you don't. If you do, take it. If not, don't. But don't come in here and then start giving me a hard time because I'll kick you out. Because it's not fair to everybody else, okay? Lazy people, you're going to have to work. You're going to have to study. You're going to have to learn this stuff, right? The most successful and purpose-driven people in the world learn and study this stuff daily. I also don't want tire kickers. Right? I don't want anybody coming in here going, well, let me see. I'll decide for myself. That's not a successful mindset already. Right? Successful and purpose-driven people say, here's the information I need. I'm going to get it. I'm going to buy this book and read it. I'm going to buy this course and study it. I'm going to go to this conference and learn it. And I'm never going to question. I'm never going to get in front of what I need and then start doubting it. Okay? So no tire kickers. This group is specifically designed for people who are tired of living half-filled lives and are serious and ready to experience a fulfilled life, aka a full-filled life. Okay? Here are the 2 reasons you haven't found your purpose in life yet, and it's not your fault. 1, because you haven't discovered your true self. And 2, you aren't in a purpose-rich environment. Nobody's taught you to do either of these. And the Purpose Mastery group teaches you exactly how to do both of those. Also, I personally hate it when people feel obligated to do the things that are most important for them. The right people will take advantage of the right information because they know they will delay their fulfilled life if they don't. But living a purpose-driven and fulfilled life isn't for everyone. So I've attached for you an ironclad 30-day money-back guarantee. If you join the Purpose Mastery group and you are unhappy with the content you receive, just send me an email and I'll refund your entire cost. And you can unsubscribe at any time. There's no contract. There's no commitment on this. Okay, no questions asked. You email me, hey, I want my money back. Boom, I'll send it right back to you. Okay, in 30 days. 30-day money-back guarantee, ironclad. If you decide you don't want to continue on the journey of finding your purpose and living your fulfilled life, I don't want your money. This isn't about money for me. My goal is to help people, not make people feel stuck. So today, when you join the group by clicking your invitation below, know that I'm on your side and I've truly set this up to work in your favor. Heck, you can even keep the information you've already got and access this training whenever you want, even if you decide to opt out. Okay? In fact, to show you how important this group is and how much I believe in the power of finding your purpose and direction in life, I've even set this up so you can share this training with anybody you know who is also wanting to discover their purpose. And you can share it as often as you want. See, the other guys make you log in and they get all, they get all weird and act exclusive and secretive when they put out info. But I didn't want this to be the same thing as the shit they put out. I know it's a wild concept, but I actually want to help people and do cool shit with cool people. Mind-blowing concept, right? I know, a lot of those tonight. My life changed forever once I discovered my true self, discovered my purpose and direction, and learned how to tap into the power of the 29 purpose indicators. Plain and simple. So when you watch the trainings I send you and you think of someone who would benefit from that training, you can actually help them by sending them the link. No strings attached. More than ever, the underdogs of this world need a win. And if no one else will do anything about that, I will. So click your invitation below now, and I'll see you on the inside. Let's dive in and start living our badass, purpose-filled lives. I'll see you on the inside. Oh, and by the way, I only have spots for the first 500 people who decide to accept their invitations. Okay, that way I can actually focus on the group, and it's not too big and too crazy. So don't hesitate. The spots will fill up. I'll see you on the inside of your exclusive invitation. Click the button below now to gain access, and welcome to the Purpose Mastery Group.